It was just a bad weekend on the north side. We talk more injury news for the Bears, both good and bad, and we preview the Bears running back room.
Yeah, no side noise. Shot City then. Joey and Sam. Lock it in. Wind blow all the spin. Cup talk, yeah, tap in. And with a heartbeat, couple quick.
Welcome to the Shy City Den. I am Joey Glickman alongside Sam Van Cleve. We're breaking down the biggest stories, biggest games, and all things Chicago sports. Let's get into it. We've had a busy week in Chicago sports. Plenty to talk about, both on the lakefront and on the north side of Chicago. Um, Sam, let's start with the Cubs. Cubs get off to a really good start to start the weekend, winning 3-0 off a Seiya home run, and then two clunkers back to back, both Saturday and Sunday. One came from Matthew Boyd not pitching well, and Joshua Baez in his major league debut becoming what Christopher Morel wanted to be. And then today, Edward Cabrera. We're going to talk about it. Edward Cabrera was terrible today. Um, we may talk about some rotation decisions that Craig may have to make soon. But let's kind of, I don't know where we should start, Sam. Sam, let's kind of start with the pitching. Let's start with the pitching. Matthew Boyd struggled yesterday, and Edward Cabrera really was just not good today. Let's focus on Edward Cabrera first. Do you give him one more start, and maybe if he does turn it around, maybe give him one more start? But like if he messes up that next start, do you consider going back to Peterson or Assad?
I mean, that's definitely got to be talked about considering after his start today it came out that he was dealing with like some sort of blister again on
Ridiculous,
his
man. It's ridiculous.
throwing hand that he
Ridiculous.
said was impacting his spin and whatnot. So that's his second blister now this year, and it's hopefully he doesn't miss time from it. He shouldn't miss time from it. But I think he does deserve another shot considering his rehab start right before he started today. He went five scoreless and what was it, five hitless too?
Yeah,
Like one walk or something.
yeah.
So he looked lights out in his last rehab start, and unfortunately that didn't carry over to today. And it was just a tale of more of the same, you know. When we got the big acquisition of Edward Cabrera coming in, we kind of expected a big whiff rate, and I feel like we just haven't seen that happen at all this year. In fact, it's been nothing but hard contact.
And it looked like he didn't have it from pitch one today. Like his command wasn't there, and I guess he blamed it on the blister. I don't buy it, man. I just don't buy it. If he had a blister problem, he would have gotten taken out earlier. Giving up hard contact, loud outs. He gave up that homer to Burleson right away, and his stuff just doesn't look as crisp as it did in Miami. It just hasn't clicked for him this year. It's been disappointing for sure. Like one of the more disappointing stories of the season with a lot of positives, for sure. But Edward Cabrera not being part, like contributing to this rotation, is very disappointing when you give up a solid player like Owen Casey to head out to Miami. I know he hasn't been great, but he's a good player.
Yeah,
He,
I
he
mean, both sides of that trade have been pretty miserable considering their
yeah,
performances. So, I
right. But
mean,
you
I
got to
think
give
it's more of a
Casey some
case like
stuff.
you just give Edward a full offseason to kind of rehab, get better, and get back to really full strength, and then we can kind of get him in our pitching lab and tweak some things if need be. But like him struggling to find the strike zone today too is just alarming in this first start. It's like you should be settled in. I feel like your first start back, couple rehab starts. Like
It wasn't
he
even an arm
started,
injury.
yeah, he started Weatherholt with like three straight balls or something in the first plate appearance. Like that's just concerning from the start. And like you said, he just didn't have it from the get go.
Yeah, and I truly think with where we stand in the season right now, it's August 15th. You're heading into a big series against the Sox. I do think that there are better options available, and I think Craig needs to make the move. I really do. I know you say you probably should give him at least one more start. I disagree. I think Javier Assad has proved that he's been reliable to start. He's been phenomenal this year. David Peterson, you take away one clunker against the Cardinals a couple months ago, and he's been stellar. He's been one of the best pitchers on the rotation.
I
Um,
mean, that start against New York at home against the Yankees is kind of all I needed to see for David Peterson, I feel
for
like.
sure, for sure. And like yesterday, the playoff rotation was Gosman, Holmes, Boyd, and Cabrera. I don't see that being the case right now. I think that fourth spot in the rotation is up for grabs in the playoffs. And it's probably going to be between Shota and Cabrera. And as bad as Shota's been the past couple starts, I think the edge still goes to Shota.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a very compelling argument. And I'd almost lean Shota too with, you look at his experience in big games going as far back as the 2023-2022 WBC started the championship game against USA. Obviously, he has some big games under his belt. Started the wild card game last year. Obviously, divisional series against Milwaukee. So Shota he carries some playoff experience and big game experience. So I think that is noteworthy. But let's turn the page back to the starting pitchers from this weekend. I thought Craig had one of his worst series and weekends of the year, maybe the worst.
1,000%.
But I really don't understand leaving Matthew Boyd in for as long as he did yesterday, allowing him to see Joshua Baez for the third time. Like, I don't know, simple things like that. It's just maybe he was, wanting the bullpen or saving the bullpen for today if we got a good Edwards start or something like that. But really mind-boggling series, I think, from Craig Counsell, in my opinion.
Here's what I'll say on yesterday. I think it was probably the worst. And don't get me wrong, Craig Counsell hasn't had a good season. He hasn't had a great season. He's had an outstanding year. Is honestly probably a front runner to win the National League Manager of the Year award. But I think yesterday was the worst game he's managed all year. You the I'm trying to phrase this correctly. The deadline that Jed had gives you the ability to, if for whatever reason a starter struggles, is to take him out early and put in another reliever. They have the depth now to do those things, and Craig didn't do that yesterday. You had everyone fresh for in terms of like the long relievers, like the Savalis of the world, the Rays of the world, who eventually did come in after Boyd. Assad.
It was all too late.
What do you say?
I said it was all too late. Like at that point, like
It
we're
was all too
down
late, and
7-8 runs.
and it just didn't make sense for Boyd to face Baez for the third straight time, and like it was so predictable, man. And I think Craig that's probably the last time that's going to happen. I think Savali, Ray, I know Assad's in Iowa, but if he comes up Assad, like those guys are going to be so valuable down the stretch. Not in October as much, but like in September, if a pitcher struggles early and you can tell right away that he doesn't have it, you go to one of those three guys in the bullpen to not only eat innings, but give you quality innings as well. Because all three of those guys, for what it's worth, have been really good in a Cub uniform. And, you know, Boyd's gonna be fine. Boyd's gonna be just fine. I'm not worried about that. I'm just more concerned with the move that Craig made yesterday.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way on that. But let's kind of talk about the one win we did have this weekend. Came on Friday. Awesome game, by the way. This was Clay Holmes' first quality start with us. His
Yeah,
stuff looked awesome. The ground balls were, you know, out on display that day, and we were letting our defense do what they do best. But some bad news occurred today as Dansby Swanson looks like he's heading to the IL and he's scheduled for an MRI tomorrow. Not great news and not ideal news, obviously, with us acquiring all these ground ball heavy starters at the deadline. But thoughts on the Dansby injury, Joe, and does it open the door for, a young gun to come in and make an impact?
yeah. I think Pedro has to play every day now. I don't know what Craig is gonna do. I don't know if he's gonna play Bregman at second. I know he played at second base in Boston for a second. And then move Pedro over to the third, or keep Bregman at third, Pedro at second. It's going to be a mix of those guys, and then Nico is obviously going to play shortstop. Um, and Dansby is not the most, he's not the greatest hitter of all time. He'd probably be the first one to tell you that. But as you saw in the wild card series, he can win you a series defensively. And like you said,
100%.
and like you said, Jed went and got ground ball pitchers in Holmes and Gosman, and now you lose your best infielder. That hurts. It hurts. I don't know the extent of it. I think we'll know more tomorrow. Um, Dansby did have a post game interview. Kind of sounded a little optimistic that this might be a shorter stint.
It
Um,
looked like he was like in pain
he
before
was in
the
severe
swing
pain.
even happened.
I missed it. I was there. I missed it. I just did not see it happen, but I just saw him crouch on the ground. Like it looked like he pulled his back out. I thought it was his
If
wrist.
it's like it could be like oblique or like we'll see.
No,
Something like
it
that
was his
would
oblique.
maybe make
It
sense.
was a left oblique strain, and those tend to linger for position players, man. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean, we
tough.
knew Seiya has battled with those in the past. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, I don't know. It's tough to see. I hope this is a minimum stint. We need Dansby for sure. Um, hopefully he comes back before the Milwaukee series. My guess is probably not. But we just need him back for the postseason. As good of a defender as he is.
yeah, I mean, the casuals can make all the jokes they want about his offense and his low average, but this dude is incredibly valuable to our ball club. Like you said, he can straight up win us a game, win us a series. Matter of fact, he did against San Diego last year in the playoffs. So to have his, postseason experience is crucial for this ball club. So we're going to need Dansby back, as soon as possible. So stay tuned with the pod. Stay tuned with the Instagram. We'll have you guys up to date
For sure.
on the status of Dansby Swanson as we hear more. But should we head into the big Crosstown Classic?
We sure can. This is a big one, man. This is probably one of the bigger Crosstown Classic series in a long time, man. Like both teams are really good. Like we said this like last series they played, but the White Sox have sustained their success. Um, and this is a big series for the Sox as well as for the Cubs. The Cubs are five back of the Brewers. Uh, Luis Castillo, game one against Shota. Gosman versus TBD on Tuesday, and then Clay Holmes versus TBD on Wednesday. My guess it's probably going to be K on Tuesday, Anthony K, followed by maybe Sean Newcomb or someone along those lines. Sam, I think this is a advantage Cubs series. I'm not trying to be biased, but with the pitching matchups, I do think it's advantage Cubs. Shota got rocked against the Sox twice now, which is
They
concerning.
like, do they have a? They might have a tell on Shota,
They
like
might.
a tip or something, because like you said, like the last two starts he's had against his White Sox team, they have lit him up, dude. And maybe that's because he's left, the splitter fastball over the middle. But to me, it kind of seemed like his last start in right field, like it seemed like he had a tip on something. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully the wind's blowing in tomorrow, man. I can check right now. But yeah, man, I don't think he started against the Sox or Wrigley yet, so that could bode to be different. Um, it says 3 miles an hour to third base. That might be meaning
all right, so pretty neutral.
yeah,
Um,
not that bad.
I mean, this White Sox team is they're swinging the lumber right now, man. I would agree with you, advantage Cubs because we have Gosman and Clay Holmes, wrapping up the series for us. But this lineup, man, this White Sox lineup it's tough to kind of navigate. I'm not gonna lie, there's some bats in there,
Yeah,
and like I said, they're humming as
they're
of
one of the
late.
best
So this is
offensive
gonna be,
teams in baseball.
yeah, like this is gonna be an awesome series, man. I'm so excited. Yeah, there's gonna be three entertaining games. Wrigley's gonna be bumping. We're
Bumping,
gonna have
yeah.
a playoff atmosphere in there. First time in a long time, both of these teams have been over 500, playing each other in the second half. Like, this is gonna be an awesome series.
It's gonna be a great game, great week at Wrigley, and it's gonna feel like a playoff atmosphere, man. Like I'm going tomorrow. I'm pumped to go, and it's gonna be shout out Brody Chris if you're listening. I know he's probably not listening to this show. Um, yeah, man, I'm pumped for this week. This is a week where you can go 5-1. You got three against the Sox and three out in Seattle, who is not a good ball club, man. And I think we're missing Gilbert and Kirby, so that bodes well.
That is a tough stadium to hit in, though. Not a hitter-friendly ballpark for sure.
Yeah, well, Cal Raleigh hasn't gotten a base hit since 1946.
Case in point, dude.
Um, But going back off this series, man, it's a massive series. You gotta win tomorrow after dropping the last two, and you gotta gain the game on Milwaukee, man. Just not taking advantage of the week
Yeah,
it was starting off so strong. Cubs were 2-0 as the Padres were getting swept, and everything was looking great. And you know the the Dodgers didn't show up. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Brewers, and they finished the week 3-4. Cubs finished the week 3-3, and the Cubs gained a half a game. So um, tough, tough week for the Cubs. But I'm fully expecting a bounce back for this group.
100%. I mean, on to the next series, on to the next game. Nothing you can do. Can't change that. Um, Disappointing, like you said, we didn't take advantage of, we were within 3 games of the Brewers, could have been within two, maybe even less if we took advantage of the past 2 days. But unfortunately, didn't play out that way. But we see this Milwaukee team 7 times in the
It's
month
gonna
of
be the difference.
September. So that will 100% be the difference. And ultimately, like I said in past episodes, I feel like we just need to get ourselves within that 4 to 5 game back range to be able to give us a shot in September. So as long as I feel like we're within the 4 to 5 game back range, we have a comfortable shot at taking this division back.
I think personally the number is less than 3 before we start that series against Milwaukee. But I think either way they got to find a way to take 5 out of 7 for that stretch. So we'll see what happens this week. Sam, let's move on to the lakefront. Talk some injury
Do it.
news, preview some running backs, maybe talk a little bit of the preseason game, who stood out, who did not stand out. Um, some let's start with some positive injury news. Ozzy Trapillo, who broke his patellar tendon in the Green Bay game and was expected to be out for the entire season, is back at training camp off of the pup list. And, we're 4 weeks away from the season. And there's a real chance he could be starting at left tackle week 1.
Dude, real chance. This is absurd. I've never seen like injury timelines. I feel like they keep getting quicker and quicker as like we just technology
Meanwhile,
keeps getting better.
Kyler Gordon is touring Italy right now.
Yeah, bro. Like you got Ozzy Trapillo coming back a ruptured patellar tendon, whatever it was. Like that is so much more serious. Like he's been working his ass off in rehab. It's awesome. So if he's ready by week 1, that has me feeling so much more comfortable, Joe, because I don't know if you watched Jedrick Wills on Saturday, but it did not really look too pretty for Jedrick. So if we can get Ozzy back in, full capacity, that is an unbelievable development for this team.
For sure. I'm super pumped to see his training camp for the rest of the way. I honestly thought it was going to be like a week or so, and I didn't realize it was going to be today. Some more positive news: Braxton Jones and Montez Sweat were back at practice today. That was good to see. Ben Johnson mentioned that in the press conference after the preseason game yesterday. Kyler Gordon's status, according to Ben Johnson, is unknown. Not sure what that means. I will be shocked if we see him this year. I'm going to be completely honest. So we'll see what happens on that front. And then some really disturbing injury news today. When they're not even in full pads, I guess Grady Jarrett got tangled up with Kyle Monangai, and Kyle Monangai left practice early, walking gingerly, right knee injury. I believe he's going to be fine. But what is Grady Jarrett doing, man? Like, I think, if I have this correctly, I think, like, Grady Jarrett, for whatever reason, thought they were in pads or something and tackled him. And, I don't think Monangai was expecting it and came up with a knee injury.
Yeah, definitely not ideal. I obviously want to hear Ben speak on the situation more until we kind of come to a consensus here on what's the word with Monangai moving forward. But I do feel optimistic about Monangai. It didn't feel too threatening. Initial screenings results came back pretty clear. Undergoing an MRI tomorrow, so we should have more news, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, when Ben speaks to the press. But obviously not ideal, especially on a day where the pads aren't popping, where they're more so just running walkthroughs and like 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. Not really. You're just wrapping up, right? You're not really tackling. So that is some unfortunate news out of Bears camp because he is such a big piece of our run game. So we really can't afford to lose Monangai. But I don't think that's the case. We'll obviously find out more in the coming days, but I'm optimistic about Monangai's status.
Yeah, and he's tough. I fully expect him to be out there for week 1. That's a good transition, Sam. Let's preview the Bears running back room. We're almost to the end of this preview series here. DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, Roshan, and Britton Brown. Sam, all I've heard this camp is only positive things from DeAndre Swift, and he's had one of the better camps, really, of any Bear. How crucial is this running back room to just fully make this offense flow and be one of the best offenses in the league?
Yeah, I mean, this running back room is so freaking underrated and so good, in my opinion. And it's the linchpin of the Ben Johnson offense, right? Ben's whole playbook is built off the run game. It's built off of wide zone. It's built off of 26 duo, all these run concepts. So if the Bears can't run the ball, we're not getting the trick plays. We're not getting the 65-yard flea flicker Caleb to Luther. That doesn't happen without the run game, ladies and gentlemen. So going off of what I just said, Kyle Monangai is an absolute linchpin in this running back room. Obviously, only a year 2 guy. It doesn't matter. We saw how much he was used last year and the situations he was used in last year. So the 1-2 punch of Swift and Monangai, I expect them to be just as good, if not better, this year. obviously we might see some regression at the center position going from Dahlman to Bradbury and Logan Jones. So that will be an interesting development early on in the year. But this running back room and this rushing offense overall is top end in the league, and I expect that to continue.
I'm going to include Xavier Thomas in this conversation, especially if Monungai were to miss time. I don't think he will, but if he were, Xavier Thomas could play a huge role in this offense in the backfield. Kind of use him. We've talked about this a lot, but using him like a Debo um, will be something that Ben Johnson does with or without Kyle Monungai. Um, and honestly, like that's probably what we're going to use him only for is in the backfield. But yeah, I love this running back room. I think DeAndre Swift, this is a contract year for him. I think this is a huge year for him. I think he's going to prove it. And you had a lot of question marks on who was going to be behind him this time last year, and now you have a solidified Kyle Monungai who complements DeAndre Swift perfectly, man.
Perfectly.
Kind of like that Gibbs to Montgomery. I know Montgomery's not a line anymore, but he complements DeAndre Swift's speed very well. And I I saw a lot from Salvin Ahmed yesterday.
That I was gonna bring it up. That is a name you didn't bring up, and I think Salvin is going to make the 53. One, I think
I think I know where you're going, man, and I think you're correct. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say I think Salvin playing off Monungai and Swift is also the perfect complement for those two. Like you have Swift, who's your
Correct.
early down guy. You can do everything. Like Swift is freaking awesome, dude. I think he came off the best year of his career so far under Ben. Obviously, Monungai's your in between the tackles guy, short yardage guy, goal line guy, and then Salvin Ahmed. You can bring him in, wheels on this dude. He played with Ben in Miami, spent some time under him over there, so they're familiar with each other. I think this dude is incredibly valuable, not only in special teams, but you saw in the screen game too. Like he took a screen pass 50 yards to the house in between tackles. So I think to use him in select packages where it's like a screen pass here and there, almost like a scat back, can do a little bit of everything, block, run. He's got burners on him, so I feel like Salvin Ahmed is a sleeper to make this 53 and almost a match made in heaven as like the running back three. I like him over Roshan, to be honest.
That's where I was getting at, Sam. Um, I I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, man. I think Roshan's job is in jeopardy. I think there's a realistic chance that he doesn't make the 53 man roster. Do you see that being a possibility? I think
Yeah,
there's a real chance he might not make the team.
I mean Roshan was a healthy scratch, I think, for the majority of games last year. And he wasn't initially a Ben Johnson guy, obviously, because he came in with Roshan already on the roster. So I think we'll start to see some more turnover as Ben gets further into his, Bears tenure. I think Roshan is one of those guys, like you said, who's going to be on the bubble here as we cut our roster down, getting closer to week one. I think he brought in Salvin Ahmed for a reason. Obviously, like I said, they spent time together in Miami. So I think he is an absolute sleeper to make this team. And like you said, Roshan is absolutely in trouble.
Yeah, I think, and Britton Brown I think had a nice day yesterday too. So I think
And Britton
Roshan.
Brown also looked better to me than Roshan did last
Yeah,
year in the regular season when Swift was battling like the quad injury. Like
yeah,
Britton Brown had that awesome TD run against Cincy last year.
yeah.
So he can scoot too, get to the second level. I think better than Roshan can.
Right, for sure. Um, I don't know. I think Roshan's job is. I do you think someone would pick him up if they were to let him go?
I mean, we'll see. He'll probably hop around at that point, practice squad, journeyman
Yeah,
type
like maybe
thing.
you could get him back on the
But
practice squad.
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But I don't think he's really a guy I'd be worried about getting poached. Like if another team grabbed him off our practice squad, I wouldn't be that upset, to be honest. Like Roshan, he's been with us for what 3, 4 years now. coming into the league, I thought he was a guy that could make a larger impact with us because he played off Bijan at Texas.
Yes,
That was
we'll
kind of
talk
like,
about that with Velus Jones as well. Go ahead.
yeah, I thought he could have been like a little 1-2 punch, kind of like the role he played at Texas, right? Come in with fresh legs and take some chunk yardages. But that really just hasn't really worked out for him, and he hasn't found the field that much.
Um, yeah, I think it's a very intriguing room, and I'm super excited to watch those guys compliment Caleb. Super excited for that. Sam, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, obviously massive W yesterday in the first preseason game. Just want to highlight a few key standouts from that game yesterday. First of all, I thought the defense was the MVP of the day. Love to see, Thieneman was in there for a couple series. Devin Bush made a tackle for a loss, forced a fourth down early on. That was awesome to see. Starters got a little bit of run, but the depth piece is what I want to talk about. Most importantly, the defensive tackle room. This was a position group we previewed, weeks ago, and we put major emphasis on this group needing to improve. I thought we saw a lot of positive performances out of the depth pieces such as like Neville Gallimore. He was in the backfield numerous times, numerous tackle for losses for Neville Gallimore. James Lynch as well was in the backfield all day with Gallimore. Those two combined for multiple TFLs. Jamari Chromo was freaking awesome, multiple sack day. And our guy, man, Jordan Vandenberg, 3 pressures on 15 total pass rush snaps. In really the first live NFL action this dude is seeing, he doesn't even really know what he's doing yet, Jordan Vandenberg, at the NFL level, and he's got 3 pressures already in his first game.
I
I
love
thought
that.
Vandenberg, I thought Vandenberg to me was the guy who jumped out the most on the defensive side of the tape. His explosiveness, as I talked about his explosiveness in past episodes, but man, it's getting me going, dude. I think we really found one with Vandenberg.
I agree,
So
man.
I it it'll be interesting to see his development if he can keep up this, the early preseason success. But those are the guys I wanted to highlight. So really great day for the defense. Beanie Bishop came up with 2 interceptions. So awesome first preseason game, and hopefully the depth pieces continue to shine against the Bengals next week.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't think I can watch that game next Saturday, but I will definitely be keeping my eye out to see who stands out, and there will definitely be some more cuts on Sunday. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the Shy City Den. Next episode we'll recap the Crosstown Classic, um, and we will talk about our next preview and our last, the quarterbacks. Super excited to talk about that, and
Should be an easiest position group to talk about, huh?
shouldn't take that
Isn't
much.
that crazy?
Shouldn't take that much time. But yeah, that's gonna do it here. Thank you so much for listening to the Shy City Den. I am Joey Glickman alongside Sam Van Cleve. Thank you for listening to the Shy City Den. Let's have a 5-1 week for the Cubbies, huh?
Now.